Hello everyone and welcome back to Optimized FPL. We are just going to be taking a look back on last week's results, the transfer targets and the transfer that I've already made, and the upcoming week. So let's get started. Starting off our game week 2 results in net is Sanchez. He kept a clean sheet against Watford after their 2-0 win. Did well enough, nothing too spectacular, just kept his clean sheet. We saw that Duffy scored a goal. He was definitely on the watch list for a little while. It'll be interesting to see how Brighton go from now on. Hopefully, Sanchez and Brighton keep keeping those clean sheets. Let's move on to the defense now. Starting off is Trent Alexander-Arnold. His Liverpool team took on Burnley, kept a clean sheet and got an assist and got some bonus points. It was basically the perfect performance for him. I don't think it could have gone any better, really. Yeah, just fantastic. Hoping he can continue that. Next week will be interesting. He plays Chelsea, so it might be a little more difficult. The next defender is Shaw. He actually blanked. Got 2 points, but he got 2 bonus points. I'm assuming that's because of the amount of quality crosses he made during the match. They did concede against Southampton, unfortunately. It was 1-1, but I'm happy that Shaw still got the bonus points. That's pretty exciting to me personally. I'm thinking that if he can get bonus points and still concede, then it's going to be and not get any returns. It's going to be a pretty good year for him, considering how many chances he's creating. So let's hope he can continue that in the near future for sure, and hopefully after. I know after game week 7, it gets a little bit more difficult for Man United, so I'm not exactly sure how many Man United assets I'll be keeping, but if Shaw continues to play like this, maybe he'll survive the chopping block after game week 7. The final player in our defense is Tsimikas. Again, just like Trent Alexander-Arnold, he got the assist and he got the clean sheet. Pretty amazing totals from the Liverpool fullback. He's definitely gone after this. Robertson's coming back. He won't be playing against Chelsea, and he definitely will be playing games after that. So, Tsimikas, you've been a grateful servant, but I think it's time to say goodbye, unfortunately. Yeah, you got the 1 bonus point as well. Trent obviously got I think Tsimikas got 2 bonus points, and Trent got 3. Just amazing overall from the two of them. I'm really happy I backed Liverpool's defense. With Van Dijk back in, I can really see them doing really well. So Liverpool and definitely Alexander-Arnold will be staying. Tsimikas, on the other hand, we'll have to see. Yeah, I don't think he'll be sticking around much longer. On to the midfield and our captain Salah. Unfortunately, he had his goal disallowed for an offside. Would have been pretty nice to see all of my Liverpool assets return, but you can't always win with that. Still kept a clean sheet though, so we got 3 points, doubled for the captain. So it definitely could have been worse, but it definitely could have been better. That's for sure. Captain, and where it could have gone much worse was Fernandes. He was somebody I definitely considered for the captaincy, especially against a weak Southampton defense. I'm really happy I decided against that because I would have been lost out on 4 points overall. So not a huge amount, but definitely still prefer to have the points than to not have them. Yeah, he got a yellow card after losing the ball, which ended up leading to Man United conceding. So yeah, Fernandes definitely could have been playing a little bit better in that game. Let's hope he can get some returns against Wolves. He is somebody I'm considering for captain next week, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, it will be interesting to who I decide. Manchester United asset is Greenwood. He did end up getting the goal, which was fantastic. 2 goals, 2 games. Hard to complain about that. I'm hoping he's going to keep starting. I know Cavani is supposed to be coming back soon, but I don't see Greenwood losing his place that quickly. I'm hoping, in theory, that Pogba is moved back more into the midfield. Sancho's playing on the left, Greenwood on the right, and Cavani up top. But we'll have to wait and see. With Sancho's price drops, he's somebody that I'm definitely considering as well. Potentially taking Fernandes out when the fixtures start getting worse, and bringing Sancho in so I can redistribute those funds, preferably up top, probably for Lukaku. Because yeah, Lukaku's fixtures after game week 7 are absolutely immense, and he has had an amazing start. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But back to Greenwood, got the goal, did what he had to do. Unfortunately, didn't get the win, but Greenwood getting the goal and a couple bonus points was definitely better than I was hoping for. So awesome to see. The final midfielder is Rafinha. He got the goal in the Leeds game. Yeah, I mean, it was unfortunate that Leeds conceded so many goals. It would have been nice for Rafinha to get the extra point for the for the clean sheet, but you can't always have what you want. Also, it was a little bit disappointing that there were so many goals in the game. It was 2-2 against Everton, and I think that really hurt Rafinha's chances of getting onto the bonus points. Yeah, if there was less goals scored, I really think Rafinha could have gotten bonus points, but unfortunately he didn't. But still got the goal, so hard to argue. A little bit worried about Rafinha because if the international call-ups do happen, Rafinha will be going to play for Brazil, and I believe he'll be playing in red-listed countries, which means he's gonna have to miss game weeks 4 and 5 potentially, which would suck a lot, considering that they play. I believe it's a weak team. I can't remember the exact team, but it's a weak team in game week 5, and you just prefer to have him there. Yeah, they play Liverpool, or they play Liverpool and then Newcastle. So I would really prefer to have Rafinha for Newcastle than not. He's somebody I'm now considering even taking out of the team. I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but he might be somebody that I cut early before I lose out on potentially his points because he won't be here. So we'll have to wait and see for that one. Next up is Danny Ings. He got one of the goals, a fantastic bicycle kick in the Aston Villa Newcastle game. It's unfortunate that he wasn't the main penalty taker because he could have gotten 2 goals, but I guess when El Ghazi is on the pitch, he'll be taking the penalties, and then Danny Ings when he's not on the pitch. So I'm hoping that Watkins can get back to fitness soon, so that way Ings can be the main man of penalty takers. Um, but yeah, I mean, still getting the goal was great. I'm hoping to see Ings continue to score. Next week is Brentford. I hope he can hit the ground and keep it going. Our second forward and somebody who played absolutely incredibly is Antonio. Him and Benrahma have played so well together since the start of the season. It has been ridiculous. Obviously, Leicester going down a man was not helpful in any way, especially at that point in the game when they're only 1-0 down. But Antonio and Benrahma absolutely decided that after that Leicester had gone 1-0 or one man down, they were going to run riot on them, and they did so with ease. Yeah, Antonio getting 16 points. He got 2 goals and an assist. Just absolutely ridiculous returns. I'm hoping that he can keep this up. They're playing Crystal Palace next week. I could really see Antonio doing well in that game. The final forward and somebody who I thought got a little bit unlucky in the game was Newcastle's Wilson in the Aston Villa game. Um, it could have easily been a penalty when Martinez came off his line and basically kicked Wilson in the head. But unfortunately, Wilson was considered offside by the VAR. I mean, he was offside. That's there's no debating that. But it's just unfortunate that he was offside because it could have been an easy penalty, and I think Wilson would definitely slide that away. But it is what it is. It's oh well, really, right? Hoping that he can get some more returns in the future. I think he's still Newcastle's main man. He'll be getting the most points. He'll be getting the bonus points when they score. When they win games, he'll be involved in all of that. So I'm not too worried about Wilson. He is someone I also did for a second think about getting rid of. I thought about dropping Wilson down to a 4.5 and then bringing in Benrahma in the midfield. But that would take me to a 4-point hit because I've already made a transfer this week. So we'll have to wait and see if I still consider doing that. Looking at the bench, not much really changed. We have Foster and Net still, Ayling, Amartey, and Brownhill all in that order. Ayling conceded. Amartey's Leicester conceded a lot, and Brownhill I think played for 90 minutes but didn't do anything exciting in the Burnley game, so didn't really lose out too much on the bench. So this team's projected score was 67.7, which is very good, but it outperformed its projected score again. Last week it outprojected it by quite a large margin, and this week it was very similar. The game week score was 82, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's putting me on a crazy score to start the season off. I couldn't be happier. I'm in the lead in most of my mini leagues. It is just a fantastic start to the season for sure. Which puts our total to 186, which is freaking crazy after 2 weeks. We're averaging 90 points a week. There's no way this is sustainable, and I know it's not going to stay like this. But if we can somehow keep the highs that we've had and keep them going, that would be amazing. But I know it's just not It's not real. It's not possible. Overall rank is 83,537. Very decent rank. I would love to be able to finish inside the top 100K. My goal this season is to finish inside the top 50K, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, it's only the first couple weeks. A lot of teams have very similar players. I'm sure that this team is very, very template, so I'm not surprised that there's so many people still ahead of me, even with these crazy scores. So for game week 3, I've got 2 transfers that I'm looking at. I've already actually completed one, and I'll show you it now. It was Shimakash for Livramento. Livramento, Southampton are playing Newcastle next week. I think he's a great option to bring in to play. I think he's a very good long-term option. He's been playing more than Walker Peters. I think he's going to be playing most Southampton's games, and I could see him rising in price a few times this season, so I think he is somebody that I'm going to be holding long-term. Amarte, I think, is someone that I've had on the bench, more just bench fodder. So Livramento is more of the player, my 4.0 player that I'm going to be keeping and playing not most games, but he's going to be somebody that I actually want to keep and will probably keep for a majority of the season, if not the entire season, assuming he keeps his starting place. The other transfer I was considering was Rafinha to Benrahma. I think I mentioned it earlier that I was considering this, just because of Rafinha's potential of missing out after the international friendlies. But unfortunately, Benrahma has the same problem, so it just doesn't seem like it's going to be worth it. So he's somebody I have not done yet, and I don't think I will be. The other transfer not on screen was the one I mentioned earlier, was Wilson down to a 4.5, and Brownhill up to Benrahma. That is something that I've definitely considered. It was also maybe Wilson to Dennis from Watford, and then Brownhill up to Benrahma. It would put me on a hit for the week because I've already done Shikamash to Livramento. I do think Benrahma's fixtures are really great, but I'm not necessarily worried about the international fixtures, but it's something that I'm definitely considering, and I'd prefer to wait on the sidelines. I also want to see how well Benrahma can continue to play. I know he's played really well in the last 2 games, but I just don't think that these scores are sustainable, and the projected scores lead me to believe that Wilson will outscore him. And I mean, realistically, Dennis would have to be on my bench because there's not enough room for 8 attackers. So I just don't see the value in taking a -4 to bring in Benrahma. If it was a straight swap from Rafinha to Benrahma, it's something that I consider. But again, if Rafinha is going to miss games due to the international fixtures, then so is Benrahma. So there's not really much of a point from going from one to the other if they're just going to have the same problem. So this is currently the game week 3 confirmed team. I really don't see myself making any changes from it, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I could make those subs and those transfers, but that would be a very last-minute decision, and I don't think that I will be doing that. So let's look at the goalkeeper. We've got Brighton Sanchez playing Everton at home. I'm not really looking forward to this one for Sanchez. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison have been on really good form, and I think that I could see Sanchez definitely conceding this game. I don't like his odds. Maybe for some save points and hopefully get 3 points. That'd be pretty good, and that's really what I'm aiming for. So let's hope. Up, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's playing Chelsea at home. Really not a great game for a defender, especially with Romelu Lukaku just getting to Chelsea. Quite worried about the clean sheet, but Trent Alexander-Arnold's on free kicks and corners. He can get returns from basically anywhere, so I'm hoping more for an assist and less for a clean sheet. I think this game week is going to be mostly about the extra points from like saves and assists and goals, and less about my clean sheets that I've been looking for, at least from these 2 players in particular. But yeah, we'll have to see. Let's look at the rest of the defense. Luke Shaw is playing Wolves away. Wolves didn't do very much against Tottenham last game. 1-0, nothing too special. But yeah, I don't know. Wolves look a little bit toothless. We'll have to see how Jimenez comes back. He's been playing, but I don't know how well he's been playing, really. I didn't really get to see much of him play in the first game week. In the second game week, I only got to see the second half, so I haven't really seen much of Jimenez. It doesn't seem like he's been doing very much for that Wolves attack, so let's hope Shaw could keep a clean sheet, but again, it's a team that I think he could definitely concede against, so I'm more looking for an attacking return for sure. The final player and the new man on the squad is Livramento. He'll be playing Newcastle away. I don't really like Southampton's defense. I think that they're a team that can definitely concede a lot of goals very quickly. Obviously, in the Manchester United game, they only conceded 1 goal, which was very good for them, but I just don't see a lot of clean sheets happening this year. I think Newcastle have a lot of firepower top, with St. Maximin getting back from injury and playing really well in the last couple of games, and Wilson also just a fantastic player in my opinion. So again, I don't see Livramento keeping a clean sheet. I'm hoping he can, but I don't see it. And I'm hoping that he can get some attacking returns against a weak Newcastle defense, because I really do think Newcastle's defense is very weak. And I can see Southampton getting a couple of goals from it, especially from Adam Armstrong and Charlie or Che Adams. So yeah, hoping that Livramento can get an assist at some point in that game. Moving on to the midfield, we've got Mohamed Salah from Chelsea and at home. Again, it's not a game that I see him getting a lot of points in, but I'm hoping that if somebody is going to get points, it's going to be Salah. I mean, if Liverpool can somehow get a penalty, that might be their best way to getting a goal, and Salah is their main penalty taker, so I mean, it's the perfect storm for him, hopefully. But we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a low-scoring game, in my opinion, but I don't think Liverpool are going to do too well. Chelsea have just been absolutely amazing. So yeah, let's hope for the best and have our fingers crossed. Vice captain and a player playing against Wolves as well is Fernandes. I think Wolves' defense is relatively weak. I think that there are goals to be had, but I don't think it's as weak as some of the other players. So that's why I've put him as the vice captain. I usually like captaining my big hitters, but this is just a game week where I don't see a lot of big hitters having great game weeks, other than maybe Harry Kane and Son against Watford. But unfortunately, I don't have those players, and I don't really want to get rid of Fernandes to bring in one of those two. So I think Fernandes, vice captain against Wolves, is a fine substitute, and I think that he can get some points, but we'll have to wait and see. The next Manchester United player is Greenwood again. He's going to be playing against Wolves away. I'm really hoping he keeps his starting spot. I'm worried in the next couple of game weeks that he's going to start to lose it. The international break would hopefully lead to Cavani going away, which means that Greenwood would definitely have his place nailed down, which would be fantastic because I'm looking to probably move on a lot of Manchester United players by game week 7. So this could be a blessing in disguise, this international break. It hopefully nails down Greenwood more, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But I'm looking forward to the Wolves game. I'm hoping for some goals on both sides. Well, not on both sides, but I'd like to see a lot of goals for Manchester United, and hopefully with some assists from Shaw. I'd like to see him finally get onto the returns list. Maybe him assisting Greenwood would be nice to see. Last up in the midfield four is Rafinha. He's playing Burnley away. I think that Leeds fixtures after game week 4 are absolutely phenomenal. So I want to keep Rafinha until then. It's just a matter of if he's going to be able to play the game week 5 game. If he can't play the game week 5 game, I think Rafinha is somebody I definitely need to consider moving on. I don't think we'll know this information before game week 3 is like locked in, so it might be an unfortunate time, but I'm hoping that Rafinha can get some points against Burnley. I'm really looking forward to it. I think Leeds can score against anybody, and I think Burnley is a team that will play deep, but I think that Leeds attack can definitely get to them. The first of our striking options is Danny Ings. He'll be playing Brentford at home. Brentford had a fantastic start against Arsenal, but they didn't have such a great start against Crystal Palace. I mean, it was just a very boring game, 0-0, nothing really to see there. They kept 2 clean sheets, though, which is very impressive from the Brentford boys. I'm hoping that Aston Villa's attack can get through them, and I think they can. I definitely think that Danny Ings can do it. Unfortunately for Danny Ings, though, he's probably a player I will be moving on after this game week, either to Brentford or to DCL. I just don't see Ings and Aston Villa doing well in the next 3 to 4 fixtures, and I just don't really think that having an 8 million player who's not on penalties playing those fixtures is worth it. So I think the Ings next week gonna most likely be gone. Our second striker and the main man this week is Antonio. We are captaining him against Crystal Palace at home. I think that West Ham have had an absolutely phenomenal start to the season, and I think that Antonio has the fixture and the form to do really well against Crystal Palace. I know I just said that they kept a clean sheet against Brentford, but Brentford attack were pretty weak, it seemed like. I mean, Mbabu and Tony are what I would consider less quality than Antonio and Benrahma. And I think that West Ham can absolutely just do a new one on them. Yeah, I mean, Crystal Palace, they're a team that when they play against the bigger teams, they can get really hurt quite badly. I mean, in the first game of the season, they lost 3-0 to Chelsea, so I could definitely see Antonio and West Ham scoring a few goals and hoping for 3, hoping them all from Antonio. Yeah, let's hope that can happen. The final striker and somebody that has basically given me a hedge in the next game is Newcastle. Newcastle's Wilson against Southampton at home. I have Livramento in the team. I'm just hoping for an onslaught of goals. I'm hoping for Livramento to get some assists against Newcastle. I'm hoping for Wilson to get some goals against Southampton. I think they can do it, but we'll have to wait and see. I really hope that Wilson's next penalty isn't chalked off for an offside. That'd be much better than what we got last week. Bench hasn't changed, just Foster. Then we have Ayling. I just think that Burnley don't necessarily have the best forward line, but I just am worried about the Leeds defense. And I don't think that Ayling has much of an attacking threat as I maybe thought he would be. He obviously got the goal in the Manchester United game, but I just don't really think that he is going to be a player that's going to be getting a lot of returns. Obviously, last season we saw that he didn't get very many returns. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Amarte, his Leicester, I don't even actually know who Leicester are playing. Who are Leicester playing? They're playing Norwich. So, Amarte could be a good swap for Livramento. That is still something that could definitely happen. We'll just have to wait and see. That's a very last minute one, in my opinion, Livramento or Amarte. And then we have Brownhill. I'm just worried about Brownhill's playing time, really. The predicted score for this team is 57.4, according to Fantasy Football Hub. Predicted scores. I think that'd be a great game week. I'm not expecting too much from this team. There's a lot of hard games in here. Not very many potential for clean sheets, so I'm not really surprised that the projected score is so low. But we'll have to wait and see, hoping for something better than this. But we never know. My personal prediction for this game week is only 50 points. I really don't see a lot happening. I just don't see Salah scoring against Chelsea. I don't see Fernandes doing well against Wolves or Greenwood. I don't see Shaw, Livramento, or Alexander-Arnold or Sanchez keeping a clean sheet. And I think all these factors are really going to hurt my game week this week. So we'll have to wait and see. But, I mean, I'm optimistic, but I'm also trying to be realistic. And I think 50 is a very fair score. Overall score is still the same, and overall rank is still the same. 186 points, overall rank 83,000. Yeah, we'll just hope that we can keep climbing the game week ranks and hope for the best. Thanks a lot for listening. If you'd like to join the league, it's in the description. And cheers, everybody.